guys, today I'm getting ready to attend my friend's wedding, so let's get started. First, I'm starting my skin prep using the Water Lightening Face Mist. I'm just spraying it all over my face and wait until everything absorbed into the skin. Next, I'm using the LT Pro Aqua Boost Serum. I'm applying it evenly across my face to keep my skin hydrated and smooth before makeup. For primer, I'm using the Luxe Crime Perfect Canvas Mattifying Poreless Primer, especially on my T-zone, to help blur pores and control oil. And that's it for the skin prep. Now moving on to complexion. For foundation, I'm using the Moonwalk Perfect Skin Silk Foundation in shade Sumatra. I like to pump a little onto my hand first, then apply it with my fingers in small dots around my face so the product spreads it more evenly. After that, I blend everything out using a sponge from Mohawk 2. Next, I'm using the Wardah Color Fit Cream Blush in the shade Peach Bull Plum. I just tap it into my cheeks using the rounded side of the sponge for a soft gloss look. For contour, I'm using the darkest shade Latte from the SK Cream Concealer. I'm applying in the area under my cheekbone, and for my nose contour, I prefer blending it with my fingers. For concealer, I'm using SK Cream Concealer in the shade Custard. I apply it a little onto my hand first, then pick it up using a small sponge and gently tap it onto my under eyes and the bridge of my nose. Next, I'm setting everything with the Ultima 2 Delicate Translucent Face Powder in Golden Beige. I like to pour some product into the lid first so it doesn't get too heavy on the sponge, and it's easier to control how much powder I'm using. Before setting my under eyes, I always tap out the creases first using the small sponge, then I apply the powder to avoid creasing. After that, I set the rest of my face, and my complexion is finally done. Now let's move on to the eye makeup. Starting with my brows, I'm using the Baron Bliss Make Me Classy Eyebrow in the shade Hot Chocolate. I usually just from the middle to the tail of my brow first, then lightly fill in any sparse area. For eyeshadow, I'm using the SK Goddess Eyeshadow Palette in the shade Peach. I take the lightest shade and apply it all over my eyelids with a blending brush. Then I use short flat brush to pick up the darker shades and apply it to the outer corner. After that, I go back in with the blending brush to soften any harsh edges. Now I'm taking a slightly longer flat brush to apply the shimmer shade onto the front part of my eyelids. Then I use a small flat brush to apply shimmer eyeshadow underneath my waterline. Next is eyeliner. I'm using the Pink Flash Waterproof Easy Eyeliner in shade B01, which is black. I usually start drawing my eyeliner from the middle to the outer corner first, then continue with the inner part. For mascara, I'm using the Bliss Roll to Length Steel Mascara. This is actually my first metal mascara. I'm so happy because the product is really good. After curling my lashes, I apply the mascara right away. Next, I'm setting my complexion again after finishing the eye makeup using the Wardah Color Fit Velvet Powder Foundation in shade 23W Warm Ivory. I apply it all over my face with a brush. After that, I'm using the Pink Flash of My Show Contour Powder in shade S01 Float. I apply it in the same area as the cream contour earlier, but this time I blend up upward to create a more lifted and divine jawline look. I also add a little bit on the sides of my forehead and underneath my jaw. For my nose contour, I use a small shading brush. For blush, I'm using the SK blush in the shade Milan. I apply it with a brush onto the highest part of my cheeks and lightly tap it upward. I also bring the leftover products under my eyes. Next, I'm using the Artisan Pro Color Optimiste highlighter in the shade Perignon. I apply it with a brush on the highest point of my cheekbone. Then on my nose, I draw a line but leave a small gap so I can create a pointy highlight on the tip of my nose. And a little bit on my upper lip as well. And finally, we're moving on to the lips. First, I'm using the Mother of Pearl, my perfect nude lip cream, and a shade Almond Butter all over my lips. Then I'm applying the Wardah Lasting Liquid Lip in the shade Ruby Sparks. I apply it on the inner part of my lips for an ombre effect. And here's a little tips. You can pucker your lips while applying it so the ombre blends nicely on the inside without leaving harsh line. Last step, I'm setting everything with the Z Makeup Setting Spray. I just spray it all over my face in a vertical motion. And the makeup is finally done. Now I change my outfit and add some accessories. I'm wearing 2 rings and a long necklace. Then I'm putting on my square hijab, and I want it to be really clean. So my simple trick is folding the edges of the hijab first, then slowly bringing it to the back and tying it neatly. I'm also carrying a black bag to match the look. And this is the final result. Thank you so much for watching my Get Ready With Me video until the end. See you on my next video. Bye!